A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for sticking to Y254 TV. My name is Cheryl Blessing, and you are watching Power Talk Show. Now, this evening, we're bringing you a conversation about how we can promote work ethics. We know that so many of the Kenyan youth are talking about looking for jobs and finding more opportunities, but how can you conduct yourself when you're given these opportunities? We want to get in deeply into this conversation and understand how you can promote work ethics and conduct yourself ethically. Joining me this evening is Anthony Njenga, who is a counseling psychologist. Karibu sana, Anthony. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure having you and me and us in this show too. And
Yes.
you look colorful.
Thank you so much. And right next to him, we have Jeff Awiti, who is an educator. Karibu sana, Jeff.
Asante sana.
Yes, this is your first time here.
Yes, this is my first time on this show. So I'm much honored to be with you guys today.
Yes, and
All
it's such a pleasure to have you on here.
Thank
So these two gentlemen will take us through this discussion, and we will understand how better to conduct ourselves in professional and also informal workspaces. Now, I want you to follow this conversation with me and engage on our social media platforms, which is at Y254. So go share your opinions, send us a comment, ask any questions that you may have, and we will sample that as we progress with the show. Now, to kick off this discussion, I want us to understand what work ethics are and what they entail. So both of you are in different fields, so I can start with the psychologist. How would you, Anthony, describe work ethics?
Let me address it in the most simplest way. I'd say work ethics are just a set of principles or values that as a person you should have. Because when you umesema we're in different fields. In the psychology sector or department, kuna ethics zingine very most important unafaa maintain, because out here sana as counselors, the therapists who are watching, we will tell you also as a man in the sector of counseling, we face a lot. Unapata client ni female, anakuja hapo ameona unakaa vizuri, ameanza kurusha mistari. Sasa counselor mimi nikijisahau niingie box, you know, I'll not be helping you as a client. Unajua, I'll be doing something called dual relationship, which is unacceptable in my field. So I believe when you talk about work ethics in all sectors, not only in my field, I believe these are set of values or principles that you as a person you should set for yourself, even before, hata before upate hiyo kazi, ama before you get into that field, even before you study for this course, or that you wanna do, or you wanna maybe ufanye job later on as, in life, you need to have these values and principles as a person. Usiende tu hapo without knowing how these people are. Unapata uko kwa department ya medicine uko na dreadlocks refu, sisemi ni mbaya, lakini kuna venye daktari akiwa na dreadlocks hata wewe utanini utaogopa. Anyway, yes, I think that is what I can say about it. Yeah.
And that was very clear, the way you've stated that it's a set of principles that you have,
yes,
and how you should conduct yourself.
Exactly.
Nata hapo, he has given one clear example of how to be professional,
yes,
and not engaging in relations with
exactly,
your clients.
Yes.
So Jeff, what would you say are some core values that people need to have in regards to any field?
All right, so just to put it in a more simpler way, so that we can understand this thing and so that we can get going, is that some of the core values that you need as a person and in a work environment is something called integrity. And it is something that I know in a country where we are talking about so much about corruption, and now we are having the issue of integrity. So it's something that it should always define us in our work environment. Yeah. Then there is also something called being aware, like that's something to do with self-awareness. Like, are you aware where you are? And in that environment, what is expected of you? And then we also need to also look at it, or we also need also to have something to deal with what is your driving factors, yes, in an organization. So I think those three things, when a person have them, I think it's something that will be in a position to really help this person navigate in the environment that now we are talking about. Yeah.
And those are very, very important things, because when you have integrity, when you're self-aware, and you also driven, you have something that motivates you, then it's very easy for you to maneuver any workspace at all. Now, in line with that, I want us to create a scenario. You've just had an interview and you passed the interview. You've been appointed to come to a certain company. What are some things that from the get-go, how should you conduct yourself? How should you interact with the people who you report to or your subordinates? What would you say, Anthony, are some of the key values that you should carry with you when you're starting out at a new workspace?
Talking of that example you've given, I'd say the most important thing, umepita interview and all those things, you need to understand that you need to understand the field or the sector or this kind of work that you're getting into. Most of the time we find that people get into job spaces or workspaces, ama places a job, ama industry or whichever workspace, ama whichever field, ajui kenye ameenda kufanya, hana goals. You see? I don't think you can survive in this life, Cheryl, without any goal. There are people who tell me that they don't have goals in life. But as a person, even after, as much as you have gotten this job, I believe almost all work sectors wanakuanga na probation. Ile wakukuwatch, what kind of job, uko aje, your behavior, your character, venye uko. Come at least 3 months, wajue what, if you're really inputting or giving that input in that company, ndio wasiku employ, na uende hapo waribu vitu. So as a person, you need to understand also that ushapata hii job, you need to understand the kind or the type of people that you're going to interact with. Be ready to be open enough to interact, communicate. You know, communication is the most important thing, Cheryl, I believe.
Yes.
And if as a person, we mwenyewe communication yako ni mbaya, I believe even though you have gotten this job, as much as umeenda interview na ukapita, you need to really work on your communication. Try the basic things. Try hata communicate na your friends hapa na pale, at least iku prepare to, because I believe in every work sector, communication is the most important thing. You must have the goals. You must also know how to groom yourself. Venye utavaa. Unaona kama mimi nimevaa hoodie leo, nimevaa jeans vizuri, because this is a youth television. Sisemi rakaa vibaya. But what I'm saying is, in my field as a counselor, as a mentor, as a mental health advocate, I speak to young people in schools, institutions, you know, most young adults. Now, how I present myself, ndio wata feel more comfortable approaching me. You know, I'm young, so I don't need to, unajua IG yangu na yake haziwezi kuwa the same. You know, also in terms of dress code, lazima pia uvae according to your age. I believe so. I cannot be 45 and I'm wearing like this. Can I? 50 like this? No. I cannot be, like right now, say I'm 26, I cannot be 26 or 25, na nimeanza kuvaa, sisemi ni mbaya, nimeanza kuvaa, nimekuja hapa na suti moja safi, baggy, hata sija slim, kubwa, na nimenyoa kipara, pap, ndevu yote, pap, na ninaongelesha, hata ogopa. You know, because young people need to feel comfortable even before approaching you. So I should understand in this, also in this, I'm talking about now, let me give you a good example of this field of mine. Nikienda ku-approach, ama nikienda shule, ama nikitaka unajua every day, even right now, it's a way of attracting clients. How I'm presenting myself will make this young person who is watching be able to feel, will I be able to go to Anthony or will I go to somebody else? Because I believe how you present yourself, how you groom yourself really matters. Usiende hapo kwa kampuni na ni corporate company, for example, allow me mention like KCB Bank, umeenda hapo kama nini, unaitwa jawa tu kupeana pesa?
Like a teller, bank teller.
A teller, na niko hapo na nimevaa nini, ragged. You know, na nafaa kwenda kwa boss kuripotia nini, nimevaa ragged, alafu nimesag. You know, I make sense. Nasikia kuna watu wanacheka kwa backroom pale. Because it is true.
It's not appropriate at all.
You need to understand which type of work unaenda. Unafaa understand. Usiende tu hapo ukijifanya unajua. Juu utajifanya mjuaji upate kuna watu wanajua kukuliko.
And that's, hapo umesema points nyingi zenye ziko very valid. Tuanze from the point of understanding your workplace,
Yes.
understanding the company,
Yes.
the values zenye hiyo kampuni
Yes.
iko nayo,
Yes.
so that you carry yourself in accordance to
Yes.
their motto and their
Yes.
principles.
Mm.
You've also mentioned grooming. I
Yes.
want us to come back to that because that's
Okay.
a very, very deep conversation.
Yes.
And now coming back to integrity, we mentioned that this is one core value that you should have getting into jobs. But utapata kuna watu wengine wamedanganya hata kwa CV. You've lied about your skills, your
Yeah.
experience,
True.
or things like that, just because you want to land the job. Would you say, Jeff, that integrity is very important from your step you're interviewing to the point where you're starting? Should you be completely honest and tell someone, I have no experience, by the way, but I'm willing to learn? Or do you think you can lie your way through work? Because some people do that and they say you fake it till you make it. What would you advise?
All right, so I started by saying integrity is very key. And integrity here comes in very many dimensions. Because, for example, in times of arrival, like I know when we have our interviews for jobs, maybe this is something that you've, for example, that, you know, like this channel is one of the fast growing channel for the young people.
Yes.
So like somebody has been given opportunity that now you are going to be the host of one of this show. You know, in a place like that, definitely you'll come to that place very early. You'll ensure that you give your best. So integrity comes in here that when you are told, for example, I'm talking about integrity in terms of time. You're supposed to arrive at a place for an interview at 7. At what time is expected of you? Maybe 30 minutes to time. Now, you are at your workplace. Now, the integrity will now come because kuna ile hali ya kuzoea na job. So, umezoea na job mpaka like you want to come to work very late and say, si tunajua vile tutapenya. So, that is something that is going to be very key about you.
Yeah.
And then another aspect of integrity, yes, there are so many things that are in our CVs. And maybe we wanted our CV to look nice, to look something that can give you job. Yes, imekupea job. So what next do you want to do? Because trust me, yes, you can fake it, but trust me, utapatikana. So that's now, and so that's how I always encourage people. Your CV should always represent you who you are.
For sure.
Because if it doesn't represent you well, you won't survive in that workplace for long. Itajulikana tu that, hey, boss, hapa tuko na mjanjezi lakini ujanja zake zimefika ukingoni. Kwa hivyo, wale watu wenye sasa time ikifika for retention, you are the first people to be laid off. Again, utarudi square one. So that's why I always advise, let your CV be a representation of wewe ni nani. Kama wewe ni A, wacha ikuwe tu A. Don't make it so much because we are living in a world that huwezi danganya for long. Huwezi danganya for long. Na most at workplace, hata your colleagues wasema, hey boss, si ulisema unajua kutengeneza poster. Na sasa wewe ndio graphic designer, wewe ndio chief graphic designer. Na hii poster boss, hii kitu umetengeneza, hata haifiki mboga, haitoshi mboga. So that's why I'm saying that we look at it in that angle, and I'll always advise that please let your CV, whatever umeweka kwa CV yako, maybe you can use different words to just explain who you are, but let it be you. So that ukifika pale job, because Andona amesema utapewa probation ya 3 months, you'll just try to bring yourself. And then there's another point that you mentioned, that what if I want your experience? There are people who are going to learn from work, because through the day-to-day things that they are doing in work and is willing to learn.
Yes.
Utapata kwamba by the way huyu jamaa understand hii kitu alisemana experience, but through dedication na ile integrity atafika job mapema. He will be asking where he doesn't understand. He'll be in a position to even don't show that he's annoyed when something that doesn't go his way. You'll find that these people learn very fast, to an extent that they now become valuable members of this institution. Yes. So I would like to also, there is also integrity will also come how we dress ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yes.
you are addressed the way you dress.
Dress.
True that.
Okay?
Mm.
Because like, for example, like, let me narrow it down a bit. Like, I had an experience whereby we were looking for people who can be chaperones for school transport. Then you are a chaperone in a leafy suburbs, most of these schools in leafy suburbs. You arrive in a ragged jeans, you have dreadlocks that are not well kept, like the ones that, you know, sometimes, I'm not against dreadlocks,
Yeah.
but sometimes you
Yeah.
need to make them look neat.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So you arrive in a place like that and then you expect to be receiving kids. First, you'll be scaring these kids. You'll be look like
earrings in the nose.
earring on the nose, and you are a man. And you are a man, and you're expected to be a person,
Yeah.
the first person to receive these learners.
Mm.
So in an institution like that, you will not get this job. So that's something we always try also to encourage people that you also, that's why I talked about self-awareness. Where are you? In which organization are you working for, and what do they believe in?
Yes.
So there are things that the first time you get the opportunity to work with them, you get to understand their culture. What is it that they believe in, so that you can adjust yourself and you can move with them. Yeah.
Amazing.
And when you're saying the intention or the goal of
Yes.
you getting to any workplace is for you to grow and get better. So if there's anything that you're picking up from this conversation, understand that anywhere you go, there is a probation period and people are always watching you. I feel like a workplace is like a relationship.
Yes.
When you start, you have to keep on working and getting better.
Yes.
You can't just relax and say, no, I've gotten the job.
But you know, Sherry, let me tell you something. You know, there are people who get to workplaces for money only. Okay, yes, I understand we're living at very difficult moments, the economic crisis and everything. Eh? But have a goal. If it's all about money, then I don't think you can survive in any institution. You know, if your goal is just to get the money, yes, I know we need money, but don't be all about money. At least gain that experience. Hata kama utapata pesa, kuwa na experience kidogo. Pesa si mbaya.
Napo, and I feel like umeleta tena topic ingine very important, especially for the youth
Yes.
of Kenya. So first I want us to address grooming a bit, and then we can go to teachability, because you've talked about learning new skills and constantly be willing to learn and progress.
Yes.
So tuanzie grooming kidogo.
Okay.
Most of our youth, you find that we express ourselves through the way we dress, the way we make our hair, our presentation, but can we emphasize the importance of being addressed the way you dress? Because utapata youth wengi, let me give an example of ladies. A lady will come with a short dress, something that is revealing, and for them, they feel comfortable and they want that to be a representation of themselves. But can we address the importance of you being formal or being professional in your workspaces? Anthony, what would you say? Kwa experience yako, ni nini unaweza ambia watu, please maintain your professionalism?
On grooming?
Yes.
Let me start with the example you have given with this lady with a short dress, or this man who was come with ameenda kwa ofisi with very very tight trousers, anakaa tu yani akona goal fulani, akona intention, ameenda ku seduce boss. Unajua kuna watu wenda job wanaongezewa tu mshahara, unaona akona mshahara yake amepewa, you'll be paid 50,000, lakini juu boss kidogo, unajua huyu ndio boss na ofisi yake ndio ile, unaingia kimaksudi na kazi ni kuinama tu na short dresses. You know, intention yako ni ku please boss. Kama wewe mwanamume maybe umespot for these men who are, you know, umespot maybe kuna this HR anakaa vizuri, anakaanga vizuri sana, na wewe unaweza muentice, wewe unakuja na it is very important to understand that the way you present yourself, how you groom yourself, how you dress, you will be addressed the way you dress. Usiende hapo, you need to, that's why we started by saying you need to understand your work una get into. In my profession, naweza venye na please according to where I'm going. For example, kama sahi nikienda ku address high school students, siwezi vaa suti, si ndio? Sahi nikipata corporate na ministry ama government, siwezi vaa hivi,
lazima uvae suti.
Exactly.
There's something I want to interject. Inalingana unaenda ku address high school student wa shule gani?
Wa shule gani?
Yes, because you cannot just tell me that you just want to go to these international schools and you're not properly dressed,
yes,
again,
yes,
it will
yes.
fade. That's why I'm telling us that
Yes, yes.
it has to, you need to be aware of your environment.
Yes, that is
yes,
And that's why I'm saying, like, there are some high schools that you cannot, okay, for example, let me just, I know of a church that if you are not in a suit, you cannot even step the pulpit.
That is true.
Because
That is true.
you are in a place where you are trying to even motivate others. You are trying to tell people that God is there and is working for us. How will we know that God is working for us? And
na
you are still
ujavaa
in-
suti.
na hujavaa suti and you are and trouser yako, you still have those rugged trousers.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying that
Yes.
you need to understand the
That
environment.
is true. Very important.
For example, a doctor, he need not even to be worried because akifika job, he will be in their what?
Lab coat.
In their lab coat. He is sorted. A mechanic, you can go wherever you go because by the end of the day, when you are dealing with that car, you are going to be in your overall.
Your overalls.
So, and that's what I'm telling. But if you are in the field of, you are a marketer,
Yeah.
and remember, you are going to meet a potential client.
Client, yeah.
You cannot just go because I'm a young person and I just need to, because there's a lot in impression.
Yeah.
How I meet you the first time and how we, because it's also going to determine how far we can go with this relationship. I like the analogy that you're saying to say that when you are dating somebody, maybe you are dating a young girl. If for sure this girl is just seeing you jinsi ulivyo because unataka uonekane jinsi ulivyo, my friend, kuna watu wengi wanakaa jinsi walivyo na wataepa na huyu dem.
Yeah,
So even at your workplace, you need to
That
understand,
is true.
I'm working for people who are focused on how people see them. So I need to adjust.
Yes.
If it is a place that it is more corporate, things like for example, I know there are young guys who have tattoos all over. Something like tattoo in a corporate world is not supposed to be seen.
That is true.
So if you have your tattoo here, ensure that you have your long sleeve
On, yeah.
shirts
Yes.
or your
Yes.
long sleeve dresses.
That is true.
I know of a friend who works in a place that she was supposed to do a presentation, but she's a CEO of a place. And then, like, in an environment she was supposed to do a presentation, for them, a lady, as long as we are able to see her thighs, she cannot stand in front of us. And that presentation, she could not do it. So because she never understood that the people that I'm going to do this presentation for,
Yeah.
who are they? What is their culture?
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying, that dressing is very key.
Yes.
Let young guys, let us youth not just see that my dress, my choice. At a professional environment, it is no longer my dress, my choice. Yes.
That is true.
Because you
I
have
agree.
to follow the principles of the company
Yes.
Yeah.
and what their moral values are.
Yeah.
And you even gave a very clear example. You said you were interviewing some people and based on their dressing, you can tell huyu ntampatia kazi or huyu hapana. So that's one thing that people need to get in their minds, because the impression that you create is important.
Yes.
So now, aside from just grooming, because that is the outside, what about the inside, who you are as a person? Kama nakuja na mimi labda ni mtu wa drama, niko na vitina ama napenda kugonganisha watu, how would that be received? Anthony, maybe you can give me from the point of view of a psychologist. How easy or how hard will it be for you to interact with people based on if you have a very negative attitude or if you have a negative toxic character?
I think attitude is very important. Attitude really matters. Siezi nikupe a good example of attitude. Nurses, sorry to mention, but wanajua nurses hospitali what I'm saying. Unaona amechoka, maybe unamuuliza maswali anakuambia, ama watu wa M-Pesa, withdraw pesa ngapi, ama till iko wapi, kwani hauna macho, kwani hauoni? Unaona, you need to also have a good attitude or a positive attitude when also when you are addressing your clients. So kama mimi in my profession, if I have a bad day, if maybe unajua kuna times you have a bad day, that's normal for human beings. Si kila siku, but there are those days siezi schedule appointment hiyo siku, maybe kama niko na issues zangu. Na nimesema hata kama pesa tunahitaji, kuna vitu mingi lazima tuangalie. Inaweza kuwa yes, nataka hiyo pesa, lakini hiyo siku niko na very bad day na attitude yangu ni mbaya. So client ako hapo ananielezea, ananipea issue yake, my husband, my boyfriend, my did this and that. nini alinicheat, alinichapa, nini what can I do, nikujibu sasa unaonaje? Sasa hiyo nimekusaidiaje? Si umwache, you know, even how you respond or how I respond to you as a client itakuturn off. There are clients, kuna clients very delicate. You know, you have to ask, in a profession now, lazima ni understand client vizuri. Naweza kuwa client mood yake maybe ina fluctuate because akona all type, maybe akona mental illness kama bipolar. You know, you need to understand sikuwe judgmental to this client. Na mimi mwenyewe hata kama niko na personal issues, nisikuletee ushaipanda matatu watu wa matatu na conductor. Si mnajua what I'm talking about,
Yes.
Umeenda umepanda matatu hapo, alafu kuna conductor kuna attitude bana, unaenda unamwambia M-Pesa, anakuambia tukifika uta withdraw, you know, ama anakuongelesha, you know, you need to understand, and I usually tell also my friends and the people I meet with, even the corporate or schools I visit, or you know, interacting with this kind of people, na waambia attitude yako by the way ndio itaku sell out. If you have a bad attitude, na maybe huyu employee ama employer wako amekuwa na ukiwa very presentable person, unajua unaweza kuwa unakaa vizuri, grooming, unaweza kuwa na integrity, lakini hauna attitude poa. Attitude yako inakuanga tu, yani you know this kind of people. Yes. The attitudes are just, hata kuna watu hata kwa simu yako unaogopa kuwa text ama kuongelesha. Juu unajua ukiwa text ama ukiwapigia kuna ile sema. Mimi mtu akiniambia sema, nakata simu. Because I believe as much as it depends, kama ni client sitakata, kuna ina depend, but mimi kama professional I should understand that if I'm going to address this kind of people, issues zangu niziache nyumbani. Kama tumepigana na bibi yangu nyumbani, kama nisilete my personal issues at work. Issues zote kwa dost before hata niingie job, hapo tu kwa mlango niziache, nizipeleke huko. Unapata sasa unakorofisha hadi na boss anakuambia ufanye hivi, fellow colleague anakuambia umsaidie kufanya hivi, wewe uko hapo na attitude zako. I believe the moment you have a positive attitude towards your work or towards anything in life, utatoboa. Leave alone even the grooming. You can have the grooming, you can have all those things, integrity, but if you don't have an attitude,
you won't make it. And Apo, you've stated clearly, separate your work issues from your home issues.
Exactly.
Now I'll bring it back to you, Jeff. Utatuambia maybe your perspective as you've encountered different educators who have different attitudes, and you have to interact with children with different age groups and whatnot. So before we go there, watani pull up a few comments, and then we'll get the comments from Jeff. Timo, you can bring them up. So this is from Facebook. We have Sami Chisaka who says live. Thank you sana Sami for watching us. Jeff Master the boss says ethic entertainment au epic work ethic gani mnataka to promote. We are talking about work ethics. Asante Jeff for your comment. We have Bernard Ereneo KE who says avoid being a sycophant, work and go home. That is a very, very important point. Thank you so much. We have Dishon Mintuse who says boasting. That's also a good point.
Yes,
Avoid that because that's in line with the attitude.
That is true, yes.
So now let me bring it back to you, Jeff. As an educator, I think all of us have the experience where you meet that one teacher who alikuwa tuna makasiriko. Mara nyingi it's the math teacher or the science teacher. Mwalimu watu walikuwa wanaogopa walimu wa math. Unasikia ni math double, unasikia kulia. How would you advise someone, particularly when you're dealing with children or people who are younger than you and you're trying to mold them? How can you separate attitude yako, makasiriko ya nyumbani, from kazini so that you don't maybe inflict pain or injury on people because of your hasira?
All right. I love what somebody has said that fanya kazi
and a home.
And a home.
And a home. It is like being somebody who deals with learners from that child who is 3 years to somebody who is turning 19 or 18. There is your attitude for the day creates the tempo.
That is true.
For whatever you're going to do that day. If you're somebody who doesn't see anything good about your clients, and even I'm talking about because even this a 3-year-old child is your client.
That is true.
Even for the teachers, this is your client. You as a receptionist, that person is coming there, that is your client. So the right attitude, you need to be a person that you know that, for example, if you are a teacher, you know that this child, I'm molding him, I'm building him. Because some of us here, we are a representation of our teachers.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Because you find that the learners spend longer hours at school. So you'll be picking the attitude of people in our environment. And that's why some of our environment, we have turned our environment to be, the environment that we have here nowadays, you find young people who have a don't care attitude because the teachers that they interacted with. So it is a wake-up call for us, more so that we are young people who are getting into the job market. Let us have the right attitude. If you are not in the right attitude, and we always tell our teachers, if you're not in the right attitude, please ask for a day off, because you are building somebody's future. And you cannot build somebody's future if you don't have the right attitude. Because you need to, these people need to be appreciated. Because if you appreciate them, they'll continue coming to school. The same thing with your client. You need to appreciate your client. If you're one person who says that, Sema, like one word statement, that person telling you you're not welcome in this place. Because I'm one person who believes that you cannot give me a one word statement. Niaje, boss, can you go past Niaje? Niaje, how was your day? Sema is not even an answer for some of these things. So that's why I want to encourage people that your attitude defines how your day will be. It can be a cold day for you, umejiva, vile umejiva, but if you just have a right attitude that I'm looking forward to meet Jeff, I'm looking forward to meet Cheryl today, I'm looking forward to meet that young person, I'm looking forward to meet new clients. My friend, you'll go a long way. In fact, you'll just find if you're rating, you just wonder, why is my rating so high at my workplace? It is because there's no point that you are showing a negative attitude to your colleagues or a negative attitude to your clients. In fact, you'll be a warm person. But I'm not saying that these people will not have episodes where they'll be annoyed. They'll be annoyed, yes. And if you are annoyed, you're always being told, if you're annoyed, please let the person sitting next to you not know that you are annoyed. And if you have to explain to them, Cheryl, I'm annoyed because of A, B, C, D. And it stopped there and you sort it out, so that by the time you are meeting, you are where you're supposed to be, you're in the right frame for this job that we are doing. So it's a challenge to our young guys that them, when I let them a job, they do not know, and they are saying that I still have a long way to go. My friend, this life, you start today, tomorrow you're in a different place. And some of these things that you do when you are young, if you do not correct them, they'll come back to haunt you. More so when you are seeking now promotion, when you're seeking even to start your own businesses, or when you want to now meet serious clients. The way you dealt with that client of ABCD, we don't think we cannot take you seriously for this job. So that's why I'm saying that if you're not ready, please just seek for a day off. And a serious employer will know. They know you, and they know your ability, and already they know your ability. So they'll just say, Jeff, I'll teach a day off. Let him be, so that by the time he comes, he's fresh for this work. Because
and that also it increases your productivity if you have understanding. But that's not to say that every single time unaamka and it's cloudy and you're like, I need a day off. Because that's the problem with the youth these days. We'll find the smallest excuse and run with it. So the attitude is very, very important. And just not for work, in life, when you generally have a positive attitude, people take note of that. So I will take a short break, and when we come back, I want us to talk about your passion, your teachability, and why you're seeking these job opportunities. So stay tuned to Y254 TV. My name is Cheryl Blessing, and this is Power Talk.
Y254. Imagine.
Thank you so much for sticking with us. My name is Cheryl Blessing, and you are watching Power Talk Show. Now, before we went on a break, we were talking about how we can promote work ethics. And joining me is Anthony Njenga, who is a counseling psychologist, and Jeff Awiti, who is an educator. Before to on a break, we were talking about how you need to have a positive attitude, you need integrity and self-awareness in your workspace. Now I want to touch on drive and the motivation behind people getting jobs. Because as a youth, I'll speak from my experience, you find that most people will run for jobs that either offer a high pay ama kitu yenye time iko less. So you don't consider the experience that you're gaining or the passion that you have for the field. So Anthony, you can touch on the experience, why it's important for you as a young person to build your experience before you can start chasing after the high paying jobs. So briefly tell us, mbona uende utafute job na ukwe intern for 6 months, maybe with very minimal pay, for you to build up your portfolio?
I believe, talking about experience is good. Talking of experience, I do voluntary HIV testing service. You know why I do voluntary? I may not be getting that much pay. I may not even be getting paid. Maybe kama ni kulipwa ni kama lunch, hizo vitu kidogo kidogo, hata si kulipwa. But what I'm doing, I'm gaining experience at the hospital that I'm working at. Before hata nipate hii kazi, nitakuwa nimeinteract, nimejua hivi na hivi, what is done. At least, you know, most people forget that experience ndio kila kitu. You might have the skills, you might have the knowledge, but if you don't have experience towards something, haimaanishi lazima ukuwe na experience kubwa sana, but at least get to understand some of these things hapa na pale. Usiende kwa workplace hapo na uko na expectations kubwa sana za big pay na una experience ya kutosha, you know. So it is important also for the young people to understand, hata wakiingia kwa, before hata waingia kwa any sector, try do something, at least itakupatia experience in something. Hata kwa, na wasidanganya kwa vile umesema kwa CV, usidanganye, usiandike hapo you have experience
10 years of experience.
Na hata 6 months hujamaliza. You know, but experience is very important. If you might have everything, but the moment gain that experience, learn kujua hapa na pale. You know, you know, one of the most you know why people do voluntary jobs? Kama unapata kama NGOs, they like voluntary because with that inaweza kuwa haulipwi, lakini ukitoka hapo hata kama uko na unafanya voluntary for like 1 year or 2 years, you'll have gained something. And there is one thing, ukienda hata interview uambie boss, for example kama mimi niende, for example I'm seeking to get a job as a HIV testing service, now not a voluntary now, kusika kazi, then niwaambie nimevolunteer for a particular period, they will be like, so you understand, una understand some of these few things, so hata kukupatia kazi watajua, it will be much easier for you to incorporate ama kufanya kazi na colleagues ama wenye utakuwa unafanya kazi nao. But the moment umekaa tu hapo hauna hata experience, umefanya for example umefanya law, ukamaliza umeenda hadi KSL, unaweza kuwa na knowledge na unasema hapana, mimi sitaki kufanya job inalipa kidogo, so I'll wait until I get that. Anza na experience, hata utabishana na watu, hiyo ni experience kidogo at least.
And it also shows commitment.
Exactly.
If you're willing to endure,
yes,
it shows that you're committed. Now, you know, one thing that I feel like our young people should take away, because most people wanataka kulipwa before you build your portfolio.
Exactly.
When you're young, when you still have time, when you don't have bills, families and all these expenses, build up your portfolio so that when you get to an age where you actually need the money, you have that experience.
Can I speak to the young people something? You have mentioned something na kuna kitu imecross mind yangu na inakuwa imeniuma for the longest time na leo ndo imekuja.
Tafadhali wa advice.
I want to talk to the young people. Kuna vijana sana unapata mtu wako 22, 23, 24, 25 amekimbilia ndoa, marriage, na hana experience yoyote, haja build portfolio yoyote. Yeye amekimbilia marriage tu kwa sababu maybe anaona life inakimbia na maybe kesho anaweza kukosa kuamka nini. Let me tell you something, as a young person, I'm also a young person like you. It is important, if you're in your 20s, take time to invest on building a portfolio. Learn hata ukisoma hii umalize hii course, ingia ingine, fanya. Hata kama economy sasa ni mbaya, it won't harm you to kuandata na certificates. At least you'll be at a better place than someone who will say, mimi kuna haja gani ya kwenda shule na sasa hakuna hata kazi Kenya, siacha mimi niende nioe ama niolewe badala ya kwenda kusoma ama kupata experience. You know, as young people we need to stop the ignorance. Tuache kupuuza vitu zingine hata kama sasa hivi vitu ni ngumu. Let's not blame the country or the president for the economic crisis. It's happening in the whole world. So usikae hapo useme nataka kwenda kuolewa ama kuoa kwa sababu ati vitu ni ngumu, hauwezi hata build portfolio, hauwezi hata kuwa na experience kidogo in something. Please, it is at your 20s. You need to understand as a young person. Build your portfolio. Have that experience. Si lazima ikuwe miaka 2, miaka 3, hata kama ni 6 months. Jua kitu. Have some skills. Itakusaidia uko mbele. Trust me.
And that's a very, very good point. Yes. I hope you've gotten that. So now to Jeff, I want us to talk about passion in line with that. Tuliongele about learning new skills because kusema ukweli, these days you don't even have to pay to get a course. You can do these courses online,
yes,
on YouTube. With the internet, it's very easy. So tuongele passion na skills venye uko teachable, kulearn maybe new skills, your soft skills, and improving on that. Juu unapata watu wengi labda they fall into a career because yondo backup yao, hawakuwa na choice. What is the importance of being passionate about what you're doing?
All right. If you're passionate on whatever you are doing, you'll have a reason to wake up.
That is true.
And go to that work. And how can we create passion for whatever we are doing? Is that if it comes back to when you are making a decision that I want to become a journalist. What was it that was driving you as a journalist? What is it that will give you self-satisfaction? Because whatever you are doing, are you satisfied with whatever you are doing? Because if you are not satisfied with whatever you are doing, you are going to lose the drive of even being in that place. Nyinyi ndio mtakuwa in a place of work that wacha nikae hapa na ngoja hizo do at the end of the month, and then you'll be doing what? You'll be like running in circles. In fact, that is the moment that utaona ya kwamba you are not making any progress. Because I always tell people that whatever you do it as if it is yours. Because whatever you do today, it is opening opportunity for your next job. I'm one person who sometimes I don't apply for jobs. But the passion that I have, somebody is telling you, by the way, Jeff, kuna job flani, mal flani, but I know that you can fit in that environment. Because that person already knows what is in you, what is that thing that is burning in you. Because that burning desire to do your work well, to scale into the new heights, that desire to ensure that, because the salary might not come at that particular moment, but that salary is it will eventually come in your next assignment. So it is up to us to know that this job that I'm doing it, who am I doing it for? Am I doing it for Cheryl, or am I doing it for my future? So if you know the reason why you are doing that job, if you know the reason why you're in that place, not for today, but even for tomorrow, definitely you'll be passionate. Because when you're passionate in whatever you are doing, you'll push yourself to greater heights.
That is true.
And how will you push yourself to a greater heights? You'll even try to now Google, you'll even go to YouTube, to even try to look at some of the new trends.
Yeah.
What are some of the new trends, even how we address one another? How are some of the new trends in the job market? So if you get those skills, it will also enhance your productivity.
Yeah.
And we need to be very productive at our place of work for those appointments, for those job, for those promotions that we desire.
Yeah.
So it is a challenge to our young guys that we need to really know why you are there. So once you know why you are there, you push yourself. Learn something new in that field.
Yes.
Once you learn something new, it will just boost your ego, because you will know, even if you're not appreciated by your colleagues, definitely that appreciation is coming in a very unique way.
Yes.
Yes.
And you've given a very, very important point. think about your future.
Yeah.
It's not just about today.
Today,
It's
yeah.
about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, the next interviews that you'll be going to. Because let us remember, unahitaji reference letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unahitaji reference point yenye mtu akipigiwa aseme Cheryl was at this workplace and she did exceptionally. So you have to take note of building up your portfolio. And once you're passionate about something, it comes naturally.
Yeah.
Ni rahisi sana kupenda job yako. So now we've discussed things that you should do,
Yeah.
but now let's go to what you shouldn't do.
Okay.
Because there's so many things that, you know, exist in the workspace that ni makosa. Let's talk about maybe work politics.
Yeah.
Kusengenya boss wako na kusema huu mtu leo amekata pesa yetu, hatuna leave. Or even your colleagues having conflict, because we've also talked about the attitude and the importance of having a good attitude. But kuna hao watu wenye they like this, inaitwa chai, it's called tea gossip. Your workplace. Would you encourage that, Jeff? From your experience, what would you say about that?
Okay, so you look at your workplace, there are some things that you don't need to do, and you don't even need to talk about them. More so, like right now, the country is polarized, where there are people who support our president, there are some people who are diehards of Baba, and a mention of Baba just, hey, things just run.
Mambo inachemka.
Mambo inachemka. So more so as a young person, yes, your political stance, it needs to be within your circles.
Yeah, sure.
Unless you are somebody who is in the political sphere, so that it needs to be known that so and so this is where he goes. But in some organization, it is even a policy that we do not need even talk about politics. Another thing is speaking in your mother tongue. I know we are people that we need to embrace our culture, and it is so nice when you speak. In fact, it's even better that some of the information you can articulate them well in your mother tongue. More so when your friends, when you're taking your cup of tea, and you have known that this is so and so and is from my tribe. So you need not to bring it out so loud. I know there are some tribes that are very loud. But you can also be loud without necessarily speaking your mother tongue. Something that people sometimes tend to ignore at workplace, and it's something that is killing us, is our family issues. Our family issues, whether you come from, there are some of us at our workplace, we are coming from disadvantaged background, whatever happened in the past. Those are very key things, because if you say it today, tomorrow you'll cross what? You'll cross roads with your colleague. What if he brings it in a way that, and then it will again start bringing conflicts?
Yes.
So we need to be, as a young person, you need to be put in, like I always say, that tuck in your things. You tuck them in so that you are presenting yourself in a good way, that just like our listener said, work and go home.
Yes.
Yes, I know we are going to work and go home, and you know we spend many hours at our workplace. So it is not a matter of working and go home, because at this place also we are trying to also have peace of mind.
Yeah.
But as you have a peace of mind, there are some things that you don't have to talk about them
You
at your
keep
workplace.
them at home.
I said that you tuck them in,
Yes.
so that they are not hanging. Yes.
And that's key.
Yes.
Tuck in your issues.
Yes.
At work, maintain work professionalism.
Yes.
So Anthony, I know that you're a relationship expert.
Okay.
So let us talk about relationships at work very briefly. Watu wawili wanapendana, wameamua kudate, or even get married, but they work in the same space.
Okay.
How should they conduct themselves?
Number one, let me say this. It's okay because there have been all over social media wanasema kufanya kazi na partner wako ni mbaya, mnaonananga mtaboekeana. Sasa nimeshinda na wewe kwa ofisi, najua maybe for example wewe ndio director na mimi maybe ni HR. Unaona wewe uko juu, ofisi yako ndio ile iko pale, yangu ndio iko hapa. Tutashinda tunaonananga, tutaboekeana. It's okay if you find yourself in such situations. I believe it's okay there are times kuna vitu hatuwezi fanya. Kama umejipata that situation, it's fine. But now I think you need to maintain boundaries. You need to know your lane. Mimi nikifika kazini, mimi si bwanako. Mimi ni boss wako. That is true. Yeah. Yes, hata kama tutakuwa tunaongea na unajua, yes, this is my Cheryl, for example, Cheryl is my wife, I am the husband. Sawa. Hiyo hata pete ziko, maybe hata zimeandikwa jina. Yangu imeandikwa Cheryl, yako imeandikwa Anthony. Ni sawa. But you need to understand that this is work. Don't I usually say this and I'll tell the people, don't bring your bedroom issues to work. Usilete vitu zako za bedroom kazini, mnaanza hapo sasa mnacheka pamoja, mnaanza
and that's also ina include pia drama. Ukiwa na drama nyumbani, do not bring that to work.
So unapata umetoka nyumbani, mko na issues unsolved. Umefika job, wewe ni director, mimi ni HR. Najua ofisi yako ndio ile na umenilenga. Nakuja sasa ulinilenga. Hata the colleagues ama watu wenye job hata hawata to take seriously. Wataona hawa tu ni bwana na bibi wana korofishananga tu kazi, hata kazi haiendi vile inafaa. So I believe, and I will say this and I'll tell even the young people or anyone who is watching, if you find yourself working at the same environment with your husband, your wife, your partner, maybe tumewaka, for example tuseme kama nimekuja hii show na nimekuadmire na tumeanza kuongea WhatsApp, kama saa hii nani atajua? Sianze anza kunini, kuna kitu umesema nikwambie na by the Cheryl jana usiku nini. Unaona?
That's very unprofessional.
You need to understand and you need to maintain your boundaries and know, at work I'm your boss. At home I'm your husband, husband or wife or a partner. Don't bring bedroom issues or personal issues at work. We need to maintain that professionalism. Ndio watu pia watu respect. Kukuwe na that order.
So hiyo ni kitu yenye mnafaa take away. Separate your work life from your home life.
Yes.
So one final thing as we wrap up the conversation, I want to talk about interpersonal relationships between subordinates na bosses. Because we have bosses who want to exploit subordinates because anaona you might need the job or something. Jeff, how would you advise someone if you're a director na mwana msichana ni mrembo? How do you conduct yourself in such a manner that you do not exploit them or even sexually abuse them?
All right. Let me start with the subordinate. I always like to tell people, do not look desperate at your job. And as long as you know that I went through a vigorous process to be where you are, that is a plus for you. It should also give you confidence that I'm in the right place for a right reason and for a right season. So that is number one. Now, when it comes to the boss and start kunyemelea the subordinate, it comes back to what we talked about, professionalism, and it even lowers the moment you have a boss ananyemelea the subordinate. It is going to lower the productivity of that place. And trust me, if you're a subordinate who are listening today, run away from that place, because if you're a lady, you're going to give in. Trust me, when the moment you give in, that is the moment that your termination letter is coming. Because you never know that amefanya lady A what takes for lady B and for lady C. So the moment that things start working in the environment, just know that somebody has to leave. Because you find that sexual matters at workplace, they're very emotional. And when you start engaging emotional, you guys, you're not going to be objective. Because there's a way that you can be objective at your place of work to an extent that you're saying that we have to do it this way. But the moment there is some emotional attachment,
then it ruins the way you said, the productivity and everything else.
And everything. And one of you will have to go. By the end of the day. And in fact, sometimes when now these issues again come up, when other people know about it, it will even reduce your self-esteem.
And even the respect that if it's a boss, you lose some respect. So now I just want to wrap this up because our time is out. You can give us your parting shot as you wrap up that statement. Just a very brief parting shot of about 30 seconds. And that's your camera.
So the young guys outside there, the workplace is ripe for us. let's just ensure that everything of ours, they are tucked in properly so that we enjoy our workplaces. Thank you.
Thank you. That was brief.
I will try before. Unanijua.
Competition iko.
Lakini hata nichukue time yake yenye So now, I think mine will be like 1 minute or 2 minutes. Okay. Now,
1 minute, please.
1 minute, eh?
Yes.
All right. Now, I'll just say something simple. Be positive in life. Let me talk to someone who maybe right now feels like they're not at a position, maybe hajapata kazi and they're trying their level best. Be positive. Keep on applying for those jobs. Do what you can do now. If you're a graduate, don't wait for that exact job that you've studied for. Do something that you can do at the moment that will give you experience. Be positive with life. Things will work. Trust me. Yeah, even if things won't work right now, eventually it will. Pray also. Pray also. My social media handles: Instagram official Anthony Njenga, TikTok official Anthony Njenga, Facebook Anthony Njenga. My number, I'm a professional counseling psychologist. Allow me leave my number. My number is 0725 029398. I repeat, 0725 029398.
Thank you so much, Anthony. So let me read our parting shot, which is from Mike Rowe, who says, work ethic is important because unlike intelligence, athleticism, charisma, or any other natural attributes, it is a choice. So I hope you have taken something away from this conversation. Be professional in your workspaces, have a positive attitude, know what you want and who you want to be addressed as. And that is it for today. A repeat of this show will come tomorrow at 1 p.m. So stay tuned for that. We will also put up the video on YouTube so you can follow us on our YouTube channel. And that is it for today. Stay tuned to Y254 TV. My name is Cheryl Blessing and this has been Power Talk Show.